Hi, I'm Dan Willett. I'm the oboe teacher in the MU School of Music, and I have the privilege of performing on this upcoming Odyssey program, in which I'll be doing the trio in B minor by Edouard Destenay, and have the great pleasure of performing with my two colleagues, Wes Warnhoff on clarinet and Natalia Bolshakova on piano. This work is one I had never heard of. In fact, I'd never heard of Destenay either until about 2 years ago when Wes Warnhoff brought this piece to my attention and said, hey, is this something we'd like to play? Well, we listened to some YouTube recordings, we tried it out, and we all came to like it a lot very quickly. And so we'll be sharing this with the audience on the Odyssey concert coming up. We don't know much about Destenay, and as I've tried to find, he doesn't even have his own Wikipedia page. Other sources I've found have acknowledged the fact that we don't know much about him, other than he was born in Algeria. He moved to France as a young man and spent his life and his career in France. He was born somewhere around 1850. He died in 1924. He actually composed a number of works. I've found about 7 or 8 of them in IMSLP. A few are published. He wrote mostly for strings and orchestra and voice, also some works for organ. But then there's this wonderful little trio for oboe, clarinet, and piano. So he must have known that arrangement of musicians, and they must have been good enough friends that he decided to write a piece for him. This is one of a number of pieces around this time, a sort of lost repertoire of wonderful pieces that are fun to play, fun to listen to, but have been kind of overlooked in history. And I think it's because of their nature. It's sort of backwards looking. If you think this piece, which was written in 1906, stands in stark contrast to what was going on. If you think Rite of Spring is only 7 years away from this time, Schoenberg was already starting his march toward atonality. And so compared to these more significant historical figures, Destenay and others, I think, have been kind of set aside as being too backwards looking, not forward or creative enough. But as we all know, that really doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. It's wonderful music and deserves to be played. His music did seem to be popular at his time, but kind of fizzled out early on. So we're happy to play the role of giving this fun music a hearing in public. So a little bit more about this trio. It's written in 3 movements. So the general structure is very much in sort of German romantic style. It's tonal, it's dramatic, it tells a story. You can easily put emotions to it. The first movement is marked Allegro vivace, vivacious, full of life. It's in B minor, so a stormy minor key, and gives us a contrast between a lot of yearning, a lot of agitation, a lot of just outbursts of angst and pure dramatic energy, lots of dialogue. All 3 of us get our roles to play at different times. And the movie the movie, I want to say a movie, is like a musical movie. The movement storms to a dramatic fortissimo finish with ascending chromatic scales, which just create a lot of sizzle. So after that, the second movement, which is marked Andante non troppo, is very different. It's a slower, calmer movement. But again, there's yearning, but the yearning here is sort of more internalized yearning than the outbursts of yearning that we saw in the first movement. This is very introspective, G-sharp minor. It begins and ends in that troubling minor key. It turns sunny in the middle, where it becomes A-flat major. But throughout, whether dark and brooding or singing and more optimistic, it's long, lush, romantic phrases, which we wind players love to play, but of course we have to work a lot to manage our air to make it through those long phrases. Ends on a very soft pizzicato note, the most we can do on our instruments. The last movement is entitled Presto, and it's a party. A lot of it feels like a tarantella, and then other sort of a duple feel, goes back and forth between bouncing, again storming, but the storming here is a happy hurrah rather than the kind of the stormy, disturbed nature of the first movement. In the middle we have this kind of just funny, sounds like a little salon tune, kind of unabashedly silly and playful compared to the more driven elements. But again, this, like the first movement, to a storming finish. It's marked con fuoco, ascending minor scales, fortissimo accents, fireworks, everything. He pulls out all the stops. All three of us are just shouting our heads off. But it's a happy and celebratory finish rather than the tragedy of the first movement. So altogether, this is music written unabashedly to entertain, and it is entertaining. It's fun to play, it's fun to listen to, and I think anyone who's going to listen to this piece is going to enter into the musical riot that it really is. So we're looking forward to doing this. Just as an advance plug, I'll say Wes and Natalia and I are actually using this piece as part of a larger project in December, and that is recording an entire album. This will be one of the works included that it'll be an album, a CD, and digital formats of a collection ranging from Bach to a little bit of jazz and a modern Greek piece reflective of Greek culture and modes and the like. So this is part of this larger picture. We'll be painting. We hope to see you at that program, and hope you'll be able to enter into this lost but very much deserving to be played work.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan Arns. I'm the Director of Percussion Studies at the University of Missouri School of Music. I'm so excited to be performing on this Friday's upcoming Odyssey concert. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be joined on Friday by some of my students, 4 graduate students and 1 undergraduate student. And we'll be performing a collection of 3 pieces. All the music is written by living composers and is really in contrasting styles. You'll see a lot of different percussion instruments out on the stage. The first piece is called Kyoto by John Sothis, and the title is from Keith Jarrett was doing an improvisation in Kyoto, and John based the piece on his improvisations in this concert, which was in 1976. And so that's where the title Kyoto comes from. John is a composer from New Zealand and has written a lot of really great percussion music in the past decade, and also has tons of great piano music as well. So check out his music, and we're excited to play this piece for you. It is basically a mallet quartet, so we're going to have 2 large 5-octave marimbas, 2 vibraphones, and a glockenspiel, and is also a percussionist who will be playing tom-toms. The piece is very dance-like, it's groovy, but it uses a ton of mixed meter, so it's really interesting how these rhythms fit together, and we're excited to share it with you on Friday. So lively, upbeat piece, lots of keyboard percussion there. And then the second piece is by a composer named Annika Socolofsky. She lives in Boulder, Colorado. And this piece is called The Dictionary of Obscure Solos, Ambedo. And the title, The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, is a collection of words invented by John Koenig, and he says, quote, that aims to fill a hole in the English language to give a name to emotions we might experience but don't yet have a word for. So this title comes from there, and ambedo is actually the definition of this word in the dictionary. So this piece has a marimba and a vibraphone, but we're going to play it in more non-traditional ways. We're not using mallets like we did in Kyoto. Instead, we use our hands, we use banjo picks, we use bows like bass bows, and we also sing a little bit and speak in this piece. So really beautiful, sort of a softer, slower moving piece, and you kind of have to listen in. I think it's going to sound really, really beautiful in First Baptist Church. And those are 4 people shared just between those 2 instruments. And the last piece is called Spine by Michael Lorello. And Michael is a composer based in Ohio. And this piece is groovy, lots of drums you're going to see on stage. We also use a piano in this piece, and some glockenspiels as well, but lots of drums. Very drummy, groovy. The title Spine comes from the rhythm that he begins the piece with, and it sort of serves as the backbone rhythm throughout the piece, or the spine, I guess you could say. So, and it's twisted and turned in all different ways throughout the different instrument areas. So this one, there'll be 3 drum setups. There's sort of a soloist part that I'll be playing, and I'll be joined by 2 of my graduate students, then another on piano. And one of the percussionists goes and joins the piano as well. So I think you're really going to enjoy the program. We're very excited to share it with you, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Friday. See you there. Here with me, I have some of the Mizzou percussion students that will be performing with me. We were just rehearsing for a piece called Spine by Michael Lorello, so you can see all these instruments behind us. We'll be filling the stage at First Baptist. So I just wanted to have each of them introduce themselves. If you can tell us your name, where you're from, your year in school, and what you're excited about for this concert. Jordan.
Cool. Hi, my name is Jordan Nielsen. I'm a 3rd-year master's student. I'm originally from Utah, and I'm really excited to just play loud drums.
Woo!
Hello, my name is Emily Miclon. I am also a 3rd-year grad student, and I'm from Connecticut. I was also going to say to play loud drums.
You're not even playing loud drums.
I
You're
know.
piano.
I'm playing piano on this one, though, so I'm excited to play piano with a percussion chamber group.
I'm Stpphen Landy. I'm originally from Florida. I'm a 3rd-year master's as well, and I'm excited to play some groovy beats.